hello to you. If your autistic child is nonverbal, this video could change everything for you. My name is Paul. I'm the father of an autistic boy diagnosed as level 1 autistic. He is 9 years old today. He was diagnosed at the age of 3. On this channel, I share with you my personal experiences, the different therapies I have tried, and let's say the major change I witnessed after introducing neuromodulation for my son. And through these videos, I want to inform you because very few autism specialists are truly aware of this and who understand the different components of the brain that can cause autistic symptoms. And many children, a very large number I believe, are wrongly diagnosed as autistic. There have been major debates on this topic in the literature for many years, and it is based on two main categorizations. There are those who are truly autistic, meaning structural autistics who have atypical brain wiring. That indeed is the definition of autism, which will manifest, of course, through atypical communication and restricted interests, through repetitive self-stimulatory behaviors, various rhythmic stereotypes, intense sensory hypersensitivity, and other related sensory challenges. So there is a set of symptoms, but these sets of symptoms are not shared. They are shared by different subgroups and not only by autistic people. Although all children who have these symptoms are today classified as autistic, which is actually a tragedy because it destroys the hope of improvement. Even though there are ways to treat and help these children, or at the very least to significantly improve their functioning, and not just through ABA or specialized educators, but also through neuromodulation, which in my opinion is a major lever that is currently underutilized. So to get back to the question, you do indeed have structural autistics with atypical brain wiring, and you also have, let's say, functional autistics, meaning those who display autistic symptoms, but who do not have a structural problem, not a wiring issue. Their wiring is intact, but they have a neurofunctional problem. A functional problem, that is an electrophysiological issue. Because in your child's brain, there is the wiring, but there is also electricity, current flowing through it. There are frequency bands that allow different areas of the brain to communicate, to synchronize with information, to allow it to pass and circulate within your child's brain. And if indeed your child's brain is desynchronized, an electrophysiological desynchronization, they'll tell you that he is autistic, that nothing can be done, that he has a typical wiring, but that's not true. That's what is often said, and I think of millions of children today. It's not true. In reality, he has an electrophysiological functioning that is dysfunctional, but that's not the same as having atypical brain wiring. These are two different things. So today you need to look into this question to find out whether your child belongs to the second group. If he belongs to the first group, he also has an electrophysiology that can be greatly improved and that significantly improves the symptoms, I assure you, including for children who are structurally autistic, but for children who are functionally autistic, whose electrophysiology is dysfunctional, in that case, neuromodulation has spectacular transformative effects. All right? Remember these words well. So if your child is nonverbal today, it may be because they have an electrophysiological dysfunction. I'm putting forward a hypothesis. To verify this hypothesis, there are ways to check it. You have the electroencephalogram, you have the child's history, under what conditions. He grew up during the first years of his life. Was he traumatized? Did he experience emotional deprivation? And so on. There are several sets of tests to be done, but a very large percentage of falsely autistic children are diagnosed as autistic. So if your child is nonverbal, it may be due to a neurofunctional problem, an electrophysiological issue, a desynchronization, hypoactivation, or electrophysiological rigidity. And these are things that can be addressed, can be greatly improved, at least with neuromodulation, which was the case for my son. My son, in 3 months, the auditory hypersensitivity disappeared, the self-stimulation, the stereotypes, and the restricted interests disappeared. My son was diagnosed as level A autistic by a neurologist. The restricted interests, which are constitutive and conditional, which determine the diagnosis of autism, disappeared thanks to neuromodulation. This is just to tell you how many children I believe are in similar situations. I'm not making a generalization. I don't know how many, but I think there is a very significant number of children today among those diagnosed as autistic who could be greatly improved, just like my son, just like Alexandre. So if your child is nonverbal, if you improve their electrophysiological functioning, you will probably see the same improvements as I did, or something similar. Let's say if your child is truly autistic from a structural point of view, there will be an improvement. Now, it might be less significant than what my son experienced, because my son, based on the information I was able to find and the tests I was able to do, has a problem that is functional. Now, if you improve your child's electrophysiological functioning, verbal ability will naturally emerge because it is naturally encoded in the brain. If, however, I have atypical wiring, of course, that will block the emergence of language. If I have a neurofunctional blockage, that will block it as well. But a neurofunctional blockage can be repaired. It is reversible. And that's the good news I want to share with you in this video. It's that you shouldn't listen to those who tell you there's nothing we can do. We can only do ABA. We can only do lessons with an educator. You have to accept it. You can compensate a little bit. You are the parent of a disabled child. The message I want to give you is don't give up. Don't resign yourself. And don't give up as soon as possible. Because the older your child gets, the less plastic their brain becomes. That is, the harder it will be to change the dysfunctional way their brain functions. The harder it will be to repair your son's dysfunctions over time. There are major windows of plasticity that are well documented in the scientific literature. You have 0 to 3 years, 0 to 7 years, 6 to 7 years, and then the last windows. After that, plasticity continues throughout life, rest assured. But the older we get, the less significant these windows become, and the harder it is to change, not so much the brain's architecture, but rather an electrophysiological dysfunction. It will also be more difficult and will require more time. So you have to approach things step by step. If your child's brain is dysfunctional from an electrophysiological point of view, I encourage you to carry out the necessary tests. I also encourage you to see, after implementing neuromodulation, whether we can improve the basic functions. And at that point, the brain improves its functioning from an electrophysiological point of view, resynchronizes, we reactivate areas that were deactivated, the brain starts to function more quickly, the connectivity between certain areas improves, in other words, its ability to function efficiently, and all of this happens within milliseconds. I'm not going to go into the details in this video since these are very technical questions from a neurological point of view, but you understand the basic principles. All of this neuromodulation is a major lever for improving it. And when that works better, when the machine works better, language can emerge. That was what I wanted to share with you in this video. I hope it will bring you significant value with information you may not have known and which is so important for you, for your child, for your quality of life, and for your child's future. And as a parent of an autistic child, I would have been willing to do anything to help my child improve. The brain health of a child, especially one you love, brings enormous suffering when you see that you can't help and feel stuck. That's why I invite you to try this approach, because I feel there are possibilities for significant improvement and that not everything has been explored yet. I also believe that in the coming years, in the future, neuromodulation will be used much more for autistic children. It's not just... There are many ongoing studies that are very promising on this subject. I encourage you to explore this path. And if you want to follow Alexandre's progress, I will share updates in upcoming videos. I invite you to subscribe to this channel. I will share his progress. And I will show you the results I have achieved thanks to neuromodulation. I wish you the best of luck in helping your child improve, and I hope that improvement will be as great as possible.